Hello, third grade. So excited to be here with you on our week 8 of our school year and week 8 of art. I'm here today to review with you everything that we've been doing over the last quarter, as it's our last week of the quarter. So I have here my projects that I did. So to reminder, the first week we did a drawing. You could do any style you wanted to show a portrait. It could be a self-portrait if you had wanted, or you could have done cartoon style. You were just showing me what did you know about portraits in that first week of school, right? On the second week of school, I introduced some new information to you. Most of you didn't know anything about the proportions and how artists use proportions. We did a little math. We put in guidelines, dividing the face in half and quarters, into eighths and 16ths. And we could, this was sort of playing and exploring and experimenting how artists use proportions for a more realistic face drawing. Then you used what you knew about drawing portraits. So you used everything you knew before school started. You used your new knowledge about proportions, and then you added imagination, and you did a cartoon style portrait. And these were all pretty quick drawings. We called them quick draws because I set a timer for 2 to 5 minutes, and you just did them really fast. And I've loved seeing how you've been growing in your ideas and understanding of how artists show people in art. Then we took all of that knowledge, and I was thinking about things that I'd seen in a morning meeting, and we thought about alliteration. That was where the sound of the words are connected. So you thought about a word that was an alliteration with your name. So in this example, I used Spirited Miss Schickle for the S sound in Schickle. So hello, my name is Spirited Miss Schickle. So we divided our paper into quarters, and we did quick draws again, but they were little instead of big this time, because we were playing and brainstorming how could you show that word and a portrait together, because we learned about pop artists, and you saw some examples and different ways that they included their word in there and patterns and techniques that they used. So you brainstormed. Then you picked your favorite one. Which composition, which organization? Did you like horizontal? Did you like vertical? Did you like how you did the letters in this one but the portrait in this one, right? And then you transferred it to your final wow. And when we did that, we did it really, really lightly so that we could erase, and we just sketched it onto our paper really lightly. So we went from a little quick to a big, taking our time, and we included the word. And then you were thinking about coloring techniques. And you had the choices of crayons, colored pencils, or markers. And I've just grabbed random colors there, right? And you were thinking about how you could show your idea of your portrait, your pop art portrait, with those colors and textures. And so now in week 8, after we've done all this practice and all this research, you are finishing your final wow alliteration self-portrait drawing. Once it's finished, you're going to put it in the Google Art Classroom. So you want to take a picture of it. Remember, we've practiced where you use the camera app on the camera, and you hold your picture up and the camera button's over there, and you can edit it if you can crop it, and so it's just the picture. That's great. If you're not able to crop out the background, and that's okay too. It's the idea that we're sharing our artwork. Artists are sharing, right? So you took your photograph and you saved it. It's saved someplace on your computer. If you had a school computer, my school computer saves to the camera roll, which is sometimes in the pictures when you look at the little file folder on your computer, right? And we've practiced that a number of times in class, so hopefully that is getting into a routine and you can find yours. And then you're going to share it in the Google Classroom. And we had the 3 assignments that were quick draw class assignments, and they each have their own assignment. And then we have the wow challenge topic, and you had the planning assignment in there to share those 3 quick draw sketches. And then you have there's a materials in that topic with your coloring techniques chart. If you couldn't remember the coloring techniques, that's in that topic. And then I put in the final copy version. And I asked you to think about 3 things about your artwork. What are you really proud of? What do you like and what did you do well in your artwork? If you were going to do another version, if you were going to do a different one, sometimes artists do a series where they do more than one and they repeat and they play with the same idea, but they change it from each one. So if you were going to do a series and do another version, what would you change? Would you do a different material? Would you change your word to a different alliteration word? Would you do your word in a thought bubble instead of block bubble letters? You might choose to change colors that you chose, or maybe your art tool. And then finally, your third question for your reflection on your creative process was, what did you like about the art tool that you chose? What did you like about your crayons or your colored pencils or your markers that helped you express and communicate your idea? So once you have submitted your final artwork into the Google Classroom, there is an optional assignment in there. It is a digital pop art self-portrait. And you do that project. There's a little slideshow on the steps, but you do that project with your camera app on your computer, and then a paint program if you have a paint program. And the paint program has some really fun things that you can play with in it. It has some ways to do some different filters. You can paint on the background. So if I took my picture right now with this background behind me, I could color that background in, I could erase things, I could write words, I can type words, and it has an option for some 3D effects and some animation effects. So if you get finished with your final wow and submit it, check out the extension activity, and I'd love to see what you do with a digital pop art self-portrait exploration. So have a great time creating, and we'll see you in week 9. We're going to be transitioning to some new materials and some new themes and ideas and subject matters for our artwork. So happy creating, and keep sharing your creativity with me and your families and your classmates.